Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. So, continuing with the discussion on Canto 1, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 12, Birth of Emperor Parikshit, text number 34 onwards. Tena Sambhrit Sambharo Dharmputro Yudhishthira Vaji Medhastribhir Bhito Yagya Samyaj Dharim. By those riches, the king could procure the ingredients for 3 horse sacrifices. Thus, the pious king Yudhishthir, who was very fearful after the battle of Kurukshetra, pleased Lord Hari, the personality of Godhead. Maharaj Yudhishthir was the ideal and celebrated pious king of the world, and still he was greatly afraid after the execution of the battle of Kurukshetra because of mass killing in the fight, all of which was done only to install him on the throne. So Maharaj Yudhishthir, he was ideal and celebrated pious king, and that's why he was afraid of so many people got killed just to put him on the throne. He therefore took all the responsibility for sins committed in the warfare. And to get rid of all these sins, he wanted to perform 3 sacrifices in which horses are offered at the altar. Such a sacrifice is very costly. So, in this horse sacrifice, Ashwamedha Yagya, what used to happen is the king would choose a horse, and the horse was also special. There's some conditions for what kind of horse would that be, and they would do yagya, they would do puja, and let the horse go, and there would be the army of the king following that horse, and horse was free to go anywhere. So wherever the horse would go, and any kingdom it would pass through, the king of that kingdom, either he had to accept the subordination of main king who started the horse, like Yudhishthira Maharaj, or he had to fight with the army that was following the horse. So if the army defeated that king, so he had to accept the subordination anyway. And if the army gets defeated, then the new army would come, then maybe the king would come, and then there will be fight. The whole idea was the horse would go around the whole world basically, and then when he would come back, there would be sacrifice. So, like Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned this horse sacrifice and cow sacrifice, Gomedh Yagya, was also used to happen. It wasn't meant to eat the flesh of the animal. So the sacrifice, when it was done, the horse was killed in that sacrifice. So immediately, because the Brahmins were so powerful who were chanting the mantras, immediately the horse or the cow, whenever they would do cow sacrifice, immediately the animal, they will get either a new animal body, new horse or new cow body, or human body right away. And it wasn't meant that the cow's flesh was to be eaten or the horse flesh was to be eaten. That was never the program. But in Kali Yuga, this was all messed up. And actually, in the beginning, after Maharaj Parikshit and after this, rishis of Naimisharanya left, when this sacrifice unrestrictedly, went on unrestrictedly, and the Brahmins, they started eating the flesh of the animal that was offered in the sacrifice. And in the name of Vedas, they were sacrificing the animals wrongly, and it wasn't the purpose to begin with. So that's when Krishna came as Lord Buddha. Or Lord Buddha appeared and he stopped all this. And that's why he said, Ahimsa Parama Dharma. He said, if the Vedas say you can do the animal sacrifice, don't follow the Vedas, just follow me. So his philosophy was different. But this was the reason he appeared, to stop unnecessary animal killing. So now coming back to this horse sacrifice. So such a sacrifice is very costly. Even Maharaj Yudhishthira had to collect the necessary heaps of gold left by Maharaj Marut and the Brahmins who were given gold in charity by King Marut. The learned Brahmins could not take away all the loads of gold given by Maharaj Marut, and therefore they left behind the major portion of the gift. And Maharaj Marut also did not again collect such heaps of gold given away in charity. Besides that, all the golden plates and utensils which were used in the sacrifice were also thrown in the dustbins, and all such heaps of gold remained unclaimed property for a long time. Because this Maharaj Marut, he did not. I have to really find out exactly when he did, when he ruled over. Was it in Dwapar Yuga or even before that? And all the gold was still lying there. Can you believe that? And Kali Yuga is such a time when we travel by the train and we have to use a toilet. The little very cheap the mug over the in the toilet, it is chained. I mean, they are afraid even people will steal that mug. It is chained by some rod in the toilet in the train. And here they were leaving the gold plates just like that, and nobody even touched that. All the golden plates and utensils which are used inside were also thrown in the dustbins, and all such heaps of gold remained unclaimed property for a long time, till Maharaj Yudhishthira collected them for his own purposes. Lord Shri Krishna advised the brothers of Maharaj Yudhishthira to collect the unclaimed property because it belonged to the king. And Prabhupada says the more astonishing thing is that no subject of the state also collected such unclaimed gold for industrial enterprise or anything like that. I mean, okay, the Brahmins left it, the king gave away, but none of the population, none of the citizens also went and claimed that unclaimed gold. They didn't go and pick it up. Can we believe what kind of civilization we had? This means that the state citizens were completely satisfied with all necessities of life and therefore not inclined to accept unnecessary productive enterprises for sense gratification. Maharaj Yudhishthira also requisitioned the heaps of gold for performing sacrifices and for pleasing the Supreme Hari, personality of Godhead. Otherwise, he had no desire to collect them for the state treasury. That's why people say all these books, all these scriptures, they are some mythology because it's not practical. This just we can't even imagine that kind of time was there. One should take lessons from the acts of Maharaj Yudhishthira. He was afraid of sins committed on the battlefield, and therefore he wanted to satisfy the supreme authority. This indicates that unintentional sins are also committed in our daily occupational discharge of duties. And to counteract even such unintentional intentional crimes, one must perform sacrifices as they are mentioned in the revealed scriptures. So Yudhishthira Maharaj personally he did not commit any sin, but he thought he believed that all these people got killed, so it was a sin committed for him. So he had to absolve himself of all the sins. And these days, what about the leaders of the countries? Uh, how many sins are they committing? We can't even imagine. Like any war, whenever it happens, it's okay. The soldiers go and fight, but they're not fighting for themselves. They're fighting for the leaders of the country. So the leaders of the country, they have to take all the karma. Just like suppose when USA had invaded Iraq, there was no war. I mean, they call it a war. It was not war. It was one-sided killing, mass killing of people in Iraq. And what the Air Force was doing, they were just dropping the bombs like anything. They were not dropping bombs only on the army people. They were dropping bombs in the cities. So Women were getting killed, children, old people, they were getting killed, or if not killed, they were getting maimed. Their legs were blown off, hands were blown off, things like that. So who would take all the reactions of that sin? Of course, the leaders, they have to take, because they ordered this kind of war. So here in America, at that time, the saying was, um, "You just kill them all. Let God decide who was innocent and who was sinful. You just kill. Go ahead and kill everybody." So this kind of mentality is now. And look at Maharaj Yudhishthir. He says everybody who got killed, although it was a dharma yudh, although it was fought under the guidance and patronage of Krishna himself, still Maharaj Yudhishthir, because he's such a pious person, he thinks that because the war was committed, so many people got killed just to put me on the throne, so I'm the sinner. So he had to perform the sacrifices. By doing so, one shall be freed from all kinds of sins, and those who do not do so but work for self interest or sense gratification have to undergo all tribulations accrued from committed sins. Therefore, the main purpose of performing sacrifices is to satisfy the Supreme Personality, Hari. So, Prabhupada later on, it's a long purport. Uh, so, towards the end, Prabhupada says about uh, about the yagya that we perform this day and age. And there is no possibility of all such methodical chanting of the Vedic hymns by the so-called Brahmins or priests of the present age. So means the chanting of the Vedic hymns for the when they were doing it for the horse sacrifice. So that time, this time was different, and sacrifice could be performed. But now it's not possible. The untrained descendants of the twice born families are no more like their forefathers, and thus they are counted amongst the Shudras, or once born men. So Mahaprabhu, that's why the Chaitanya, that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has propounded the Sankirtan movement or yagya for all practical purposes, and the people of the present age are strongly recommended to follow this sure and recognized path. So for Kali Yuga, in Kali Yuga, we cannot have this big sacrifice that Maharaj Yudhishthira performed, or even before that Lord Ram performed. Only sacrifice we can perform, only yagya that we can perform in this day and age is Sankirtan Yagya, congregational chanting of the holy names. And that sacrifice is not as powerful as in the previous ages, it is more powerful. And it is more potent, more powerful or potent, but it's sublime at the same time. Why? Because this sacrifice done in Kali Yuga, the chanting of the holy names, it not only absolves us of all the sins that we commit intentionally or unintentionally, but it promotes us back to the spiritual world, to the topmost planet, the Golok Vrindavan, and bestows upon us the unalloyed Krishna Prema. It is so powerful. And it's so simple, so easy. We can chant anytime, anywhere. There is no restriction. There's a horse sacrifice or other yagyas that were performed. There were so many restrictions. Ingredients have to be there. Brahmins have to be there to chant properly. Money has to be spent. So much money was needed. So many other things. And while Brahmins, when they were chanting the mantras, they had to chant the mantras completely, purely to the meter. Every single syllable had to be chanted properly. If not, single syllable, mistake of a single syllable means if they are supposed to chant small a and they chanted long a, the mantra meaning would change and the result of the sacrifice would change. It is so particular. But in Hare Krishna Mahamantra, I mean, Krishna knew, and the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew the people of Kali Yuga, they cannot even pronounce the names properly. So even that restriction is not there. Some people chant Hare Krishna, some people chant Hare Krishna, some people chant Hare Rama, Ramo. Oh, I don't know how many versions we have heard. But because it's Kali Yuga, everything is okay. Yes, we have to perform this sacrifice. We have to keep on chanting. That's all is required of us. Text 35. Ahuto Bhagwan Ragya Yajitva Dvijar Nripam Uvaskate Chinmasan Suridam Priyakamyaya. Lord Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, being invited to the sacrifices by Maharaj Yudhishthira, saw to it that they were performed by qualified twice born Brahmins. And after that, for the pleasure of the relatives, the Lord remained a few months. So that is when Krishna remained there for a few months in Hastinapur, and afterwards he left for Dwarka. Lord Shri Krishna was invited by Maharaj Yudhishthira to look into the supervision of the performances of yajna, and the Lord, to abide by the orders of his elderly cousin, caused the performance of yajnas by learned twice born Brahmins. So it was twice born Brahmins means they were initiated once they take the birth from the womb of the mother, anybody. And then second birth is when he gets initiated by a bona fide spiritual master. So then it is twice born, and then the person becomes a Brahman. So these twice born Brahmins are required, or among them, whoever gets qualified to perform the sacrifice, they can perform the sacrifice. Text 36. Tato ragya abhiyanugyata Krishneya sabandhuvi yayo dvaravatim brahman sa arjuno yadubhir vrataha. O Shonak, thereafter the Lord, having bidden farewell to King Yudhishthir, Draupadi, and other relatives, started for the city of Dwarka, accompanied by Arjun and members of the Yadu dynasty. So here ends the 12th chapter, and we can start the 13th chapter. We still have 10 minutes. 13th chapter entitled Dhritarashtra Quits Home. Text 1. Sutuvacha Vidurastirtha yatrayam maitreyadatmano gatim gyatva gadhastinapram taya vapta vivitsitaha. Shri Sut Goswami said, while traveling on a pilgrimage, Vidura received knowledge of the destination of the self from the great sage Maitreya, and then returned to Hastinapur. He became as well versed in the subject as he desired. While traveling on a pilgrimage, Vidura. So, what had happened, as you know, during the disrobe of Draupadi during the game of dice in Hastinapur, or when Duryodhana and Dushasana tried to disrobe Draupadi. So nobody spoke a word. Bhishma Pitama, Dronacharya, Kripacharya, Dhritarashtra, nobody stopped Dushasana. So only person who spoke up at that time was Vidura. And he was really uh, harsh on Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana and party. But Duryodhana took advantage of the situation, and because his father Dhritarashtra kept quiet, so Duryodhana ordered Vidura to leave the assembly. And the way he ordered was, let him, he told his soldiers, let this person, and he addressed to him as Dasiputra, because he was the son of a maid servant actually. That let this Dasiputra be be with only his breath. Means take away all his paraphernalia, take away all his weapons, everything. Just leave him with his breath only, so he can breathe. And Vidurji, he got so disturbed, but at the same time he was happy that he got out of this administrative affairs of Hastinapur where nobody was listening to him. So he went on pilgrimage because he knew the war is imminent now. There's no way they can go back. So he went for pilgrimage. So he went for different pilgrimages, different places. So many years he kept on traveling while the Pandavas were in. No, I'm sorry. It wasn't during the game of dice because afterwards Pandavas they went for exile, and when the Pandavas tried to come back, and Krishna came as a peace messenger, and Duryodhan tried to capture Krishna when he failed. Yeah, after that, Vidura was kicked out by Duryodhan. So I'm sorry, he wasn't kicked out during Game of Dice because Krishna, when he came as a peace messenger, he ate at the house of Vidura. Yes, so Vidurji was still there. So afterwards, when Vidura tried to give good advice to Duryodhan and Dhritarashtra, Duryodhan got very angry and he asked his soldiers to kick out Vidura. So then Vidurji understood that Krishna was also insulted and he was also insulted, and so this war is imminent. So he left for pilgrimage. And like in the verse, it is said he met great sage Maitreya. So this meeting of Vidura with Maitreya, it happened in Haridwar. And this also, these stories, just like as said in the beginning of Bhagavatam when we're discussing, three stories go on simultaneously, three conversations. One is with one that we are studying right now, Sut Goswami and the sages of Naimisharanya in Bhagavatam, and second conversation goes on between Shukdev Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit, and the third conversation is Vidura and Maitreya, between Vidurji and Maitreya. So those stories will come later on. So what they discussed and how the Bhagavatam goes. So Prabhupada gives a little synopsis of Vidura. One of the prominent figures in the history of Mahabharata. He was conceived by Vyasadeva in the womb of the maidservant of Ambika, mother of Maharaj Pandu. So again, I'm pretty sure you all know the story. There were three sisters. There were two sisters, Amba, Ambika. No, Amba was gone. So Ambika and Ambalika, and they had a maidservant. So they were the daughters of Kashi Raj, Kashi Naresh, and there are three daughters, Amba, Ambika, Ambalika, and they did not, somehow the swayamvar was going to happen, and they did not invite king of Hastinapur, Maharaj Pandu. Oh, mother of Maharaj. So it was Vichitravirya, yes. So Bhishma got really angry. He went to that assembly and he kidnapped all the three princesses. He said, I am taking them to marry to Vichitravirya. No king could defeat Bhishma. Bhishma brought three princesses. So Amba, when she came, she went to Queen Satyavati and she prayed to her that I had already chosen another person as my husband, so I cannot marry your son. So Satyavati said, okay. So she sent Bhishma, okay, take Amba to that king, to that prince, and let him marry Amba. But the prince, when Bhishma took that girl to Prince said, I cannot marry her now because you have kidnapped her. So, I cannot fight with you because Bhishma had already defeated him. So the prince was, I cannot marry her because you have kidnapped her, she's yours. So Bhishma brought Amba back, okay, asked her to marry Vichitravirya because this is what I brought you here for. Amba said no, because the prince said, you should marry me. Bhishma said, I have taken a vow of celibacy. I cannot get married. I cannot marry. So Amba got very insulted. All the Kshatriyas, girls, boys, they really take the insult to the core of their hearts. So she went to the forest. She said, okay, I'll do tapasya. And then she met Parshuramji. So she told her story to Parshuram. Parshuramji is guru, military guru of Bhishmadev. So Parshuramji got involved. He got compassionate towards Amba. He sent a message to Bhishma, you marry this girl, Amba. Bhishma said, I cannot marry. Although you are my guru, I cannot disobey you, but I have taken a vow of celibacy. I cannot marry this girl. So Parshuramji got angry. He said, okay, now you have to, if you disobey my orders, I have to kill you. I have to fight with you. Bhishma said, okay, we'll fight. And they fought. And Bhishma defeated Parshuramji, his own guru. Bhishma was so powerful. So Amba thought that this person is so powerful. He defeated his own guru. I cannot just fight with him. So she went for more tapasya. And then she went for more tapasya and she cursed Bhishma that I'll be the cause of your death in whatever birth, next birth. So again, so she took birth as Shikhandi next birth, and she became half brother. Like Shikhandi was a eunuch. He was not man or a woman, and he was born in the family of uh, Draupadi's parents, Draupadi's father. So that story was there. And the two sisters, Ambika and Ambalika. So they were married to Vichitravirya. So they were the sons of Queen Satyavati. And Maharani Satyavati had another son from Parashar Muni before her marriage. So that son was Vyasadeva. So Vichitravirya, he was very sick and uh, I think he died untimely. Or before his death, something the whole thing was created that he could not have kids. So now there was this situation that there was nobody to take on the throne of Hastinapur. So at that time, the injunction was, according to scriptures, injunction was if a man cannot have kids from his wife, then his brother can have kids from that woman, that wife, and the kids would can take on with the lineage. So Vyasadeva was called because Vyasadeva was half brother of Vichitravirya, same mother, different father, but same mother. Okay. So Vyasadeva was called Vyasadeva because he came from his tapasya from Badrika ashram. He was like not very good looking. He had long beard and he was all messed up because he came straight from tapasya. So Mother Satyavati said, no, you have the union with Ambika first. So Vyasadeva went and Ambika got so scared looking at Vyasadeva, she closed her eyes. So the son who was born was Dhritarashtra and he was blind. So Satyavati sent Vyasadeva and same time, like next night or something like that, she sent Vyasadeva because Vyasadeva came back and told Satyavati that Ambika closed her eyes and her son will be blind. So Satyavati was again disturbed. Now what to do? Yeah, blind kid cannot be the king. So she sent him to other queen, Ambalika. So when Vyasadeva went to have union with Ambalika, Ambalika did not close her eyes, but looking at Vyasadeva, she got so scared. She could not hold on to the spiritual potency of Vyasadeva. So the child that was born was not of good health. So that was Pandu. So Pandu Maharaj didn't have good health, although wasn't blind, but didn't have good health. So Satyavati, he came back to Satyavati, Mother Satyavati. Mother Satyavati said, okay, try it one more time. So now both Ambika and Ambalika, they got together. They were sisters. So they got together. They said, oh, we cannot be with Vyasadeva and Mother Satyavati. We cannot say no to. So they had brought this maid from the kingdom. So they let maid have union with Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva, when he went in the room, the maid was there, and maid did not get scared. Maid did not close her eyes. So Vyasadeva had another son from the maid, but that maid's son was Vidurji. But since he was the son of a maid, he could not be the king either. So that there was lots of twist in the story of Mahabharata. And then Vyasadeva left and went back to the Badrikashram, forest tapasya. So why Vidur was born as a maid servant? Now this is the story. He was conceived by Vyasadeva. Now I'm over time, but I want to finish this story. He was conceived by Vyasadeva in the womb of the maid servant of Ambika, mother of Maharaj Pandu. He is the incarnation of Yamraj. Being cursed by Manduk Muni, he was to become a Shudra. The story is narrated as follows. Once upon a time, the state police caught some thieves who had concealed themselves in the hermitage of Manduk Muni. The police constables, as usual, arrested all the thieves and Manduk Muni along with them. The magistrate specifically punished the Muni to death by being pierced with the lance. That is called Suli Pechadado. When he was just to be pierced, the news reached the king, and he was at once stopped the act on consideration of his being a great Muni. The king personally begged Muni's pardon for the mistake of his men, and the saint, because Manduk Muni got so angry that why he was supposed to be put on the Suli, on the lance. And according to one Purana, he was put on the stool, but because he was a great sage, he kept his body still alive. And the putting on the lance or putting on the stool was the idea was they would put the bhala or the lance with the pointed thing upward and they stick it on the ground. And they put the prisoner, they make him sit. Let the lance, the pointed end would go from his anus and it will pierce all the way through his skull. That was a punishment. And they would leave him there to die. So they had put all the thieves on the Suli, so everybody died. But this sage, because he was a tapasvi, he kept his body alive. So when the king heard this sage is still alive, he got scared. He said, "Oh, I think we punished the wrong person." So they brought the sage down. So Manduk Muni said, "It's not your fault." But he went to the abode of Yamraj. Why was I punished? So the king personally begged, okay, and the saint at once went to Yamraj, who prescribed the destiny of the living beings. Yamraj, being cautioned by the Muni, replied that the Muni in his childhood pierced an ant with a sharpened straw, and for that reason he was put into difficulty. So any act of us does not go unnoticed. Any act. The Muni thought it unwise on the part of Yamraj that he was punished for his childish innocence. So Muni said, Manduk Muni said, I wasn't even 13 years old. So anything done before 13 years, it's not considered a crime, not considered a sin. So he said, you wrongly punished me. And he cursed Yamaraj to become a Shudra. And this Shudra incarnation of Yamraj was known as Vidura, the Shudra brother of Dhritarashtra and Maharaj Pandu. But this Shudra son of Kuru dynasty was equally treated by Bhishmadev along with his other nephews, and in due course, Vidura married a girl who was also begotten in the womb of a Shudrani by a Brahman. Although Vidura did not inherit the property of his father, still he was given sufficient state property by Dhritarashtra, the elder brother of Vidura. Vidura was very much attached to his elder brother, and all along he tried to guide him on the right path. During the fratricidal war of Kurukshetra, Vidura repeatedly implored his elder brother to do justice to the sons of Pandu. But Duryodhan did not like such interference by his uncle, and thus he practically insulted Vidura. This resulted in Vidura leaving home for pilgrimage and taking instructions from Maitreya Muni. So many stories are joined in this great epic Mahabharata. So Vidurji, although he is incarnation of Yamraj, but when Vidura got this curse by Manduk Muni, Yamraji got cursed. The Yamraji, he was very happy to come as a son of a maid servant. Why? Because he said, I'm tired of sitting in my position and giving punishment to so many sinful people. Let me take a break from this. So he came on earth, and he took the form of Vidurji, and he did all these services. And he was a great devotee because Yamraji is a Mahajan. So when Mahajan comes as Vidura, he was a great devotee of Krishna. And Krishna personally went to his house. When he came as peace messenger, Duryodhan, I invited him. And there's a beautiful bhajan also. Duryodhan ko meva tyago, saga vidur ghar khai. So Duryodhan invited him to stay at his palace and have prasadam. But Krishna said no. Krishna went to Vidur's house, and Vidurani, his wife, Vidurji's wife, she was so devoted. She got so much in ecstasy when Krishna came to their house that she was peeling the banana to offer to Krishna, and she forgot. She was so much ecstasy. She offered the skin of bananas to Krishna for him to eat, and Krishna ate them very happily. This is the devotion. If the devotion is there, Krishna is ready to accept anything. Of course, we don't want to feed him the skin of banana, but it is Krishna. He loved that devotee's sentiments. So anyway, I think I went really over time today, so I'll stop here. Yes, Sashwati Mata, you had a question that you wanted to ask.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, yesterday you were speaking about spiritual anxiety. So I'm little confused. Like, supposing if we are asking in front of Krishna or praying to Krishna and asking that, all the material worries should be discarded in our life so that we can get, progress in spiritual path. So are we not being selfish? This won't be called spiritual anxiety, right, Prabhuji? If you can please clarify, Prabhuji, I'm a little bit confused about it.
Well, first of all, we are there's so much of beginning stages of bhakti that we need all the help we can get from Krishna. So even if we are asking him to remove our material anxieties, it's still okay. Of course, it's a material anxiety, but it is still okay. Of course, when we make progress, then we don't ask. That's a different stage, but we are not at that stage right now. And we cannot imitate that stage either. And moreover, as I had said earlier, that when we go and ask Krishna, even for material things, of course, whether we get them or not, that's up to Krishna to decide. It's not like we asked, we showed him our shopping list, and he will sanction everything. It's not going to happen. But when we go and ask him for anything, what he likes is this devotee has accepted me as his own, that he has developed a relationship with me, and this is what he likes. And we have to really develop that relationship. So yes, there's nothing wrong. We should ask. At least we develop that relationship with him, that he is mine. I have taken shelter of him. Of course, when we grow further in bhakti and in one of the different modes of parent or friend, then we don't ask. Then we want to serve. We want to take care of him instead of asking him to take care of us. But that stage is much later. It's not, we're not there yet.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Any questions or comments?
Prabhuji, comment actually, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
So the comment is, it's about so nicely about Lord Krishna. He said that he has eaten that the skin of banana. There's lots of other example when Sudama came to
Yeah.
his palace, and he ate, instead of eating anything else, he ate those, I think we call that potli, in which the
Yeah.
rice was. Sudama took.
Yeah.
He ate that and he was so happy with it. Another example was Lord Rama. He
Yeah.
has
Shabri.
eaten Shabri's bag. So He's so merciful, and these are the example sets that he is not looking at the lavishness of the devotees, who is offering what in terms of crores of something, like we see when we go to Tirupati, they put lots of golds, and in Sai Baba Mandir, every day there are a lot of chadhavas. So he's not looking for that. He's just looking for the bhav, I think.
This was discussed earlier. Yes, he is looking for bhav, but at the same time, if somebody can afford to offer him something nice, we should. Sudama could not offer him anything. Shabri could not offer him anything great. With Durrani ji, she was offering, but at that moment of ecstasy, she offered him peels of skin of banana. So he accepted. Fine. But if we can offer, I mean, gold with bhav, why not? If somebody he is very well off and he can offer the gold, and even if he cannot offer the gold with bhav, at least offer whatever you have. Don't be a miser.
Correct.
Just like many times people complain, like when Tirupati or any other major temple people go to, there are long lines for common people. And the rich people, they pay a big price, VIP ticket or some other ticket, and they get the darshan faster. So they say, why there's discrimination? Well, there is no discrimination. The poor people, they can offer Krishna the time. So they are offering their time. Rich people are offering the money. So whatever they can offer, let them do.
Yes, Prabhuji, absolutely.
So if poor people are offering him one little fruit, if the person is bringing little fruit to offer to Tirupati Balaji, and the rich person is going inside and offering him lots of gold, of course Krishna is not attached to gold. He is attached to the devotee. But he will accept both the offerings. So there is nothing wrong.
But thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Very well explained. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I think today we went really over time. You all have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Jai
you.
Shri Prabhu.
Prabhuji.